Good morning, we're at the MacLachlan Woodworking Museum with Tom, the curator here. And Tom, there's a new exhibit here. Can you tell me about this new exhibit?
We wanted to come up with something to celebrate Canada's 150th that really sort of encompassed the whole community, physical and the population. And last year's we did shakers, and we're always kind of looking for that niche idea, but this year we wanted to kind of do the opposite. We wanted to see like how much can we touch on, and so we came up with this idea of the 6 degrees of separation. But we were actually saying, well, if you actually look close enough, pretty much everything and everyone in Kingston is usually actually connected in some way. So we sort of turned it on its ear and said, 1 degree of separation. So what we wanted to do was say, it doesn't matter whether your family's been here for 300-400 years, or you just arrived, last year, and you maybe don't speak the language that well, but it doesn't really matter, because there's going to be, if you look deep enough, if you look through the right lens, you'll find that in the end we're all connected in some way.
And you've collected a lot of really interesting pieces for this exhibit. Where did you even find these things?
Well, we started to put a call out first to all the different museums. There's a lot of good collections in this city, and a lot of those objects don't really see the light of day. Again, because museums typically are trying to tell usually a very kind of a niche exhibit stream where it's very specific. So you'll get a lot of these kind of interesting, strange objects that don't really fit in, so they don't see the light of day. So I started going around talking with other curators in the city, and basically saying, what are some really interesting artifacts you have that you would probably never display. And then we also started to contact different community groups and just put the call out publicly. So yeah, we had some strange things show up, and it was delightful in that when you're starting this process, you have no idea what you're going to get. You just know they're going to be these kind of unique finds, and then once you're getting into the process, the exhibit could totally change or totally take a different direction just based on who calls with an interesting artifact.
So every piece is connected in some way. So what is the most interesting connection between two pieces that you've found so far?
The connections don't have to be based on simple things like material or who made them or when they were made. Those are the sorts of things we would typically think of as far as a connection. Instead, we're looking at things like maybe the fact that they were both animals and they both passed away, or things like they both record information within them that was discovered in a unique way. For example, we have a fossil that's 500 million years old, and wow, it records some of the earliest land tracks made by a creature out of the sea. Okay. And then we have this really creepy denture making device from the 19th century that has real teeth, and it looks really horrible. But and you may say, well, what
Denture, we're talking fake teeth.
Yeah, fake teeth. Okay. It's just like and so, but what would be the connection? And well, they both make impressions, and that impressions, okay, when you're actually making dentures, you actually make them. They bite down on wax, and they take that impression and then they adjust it, and that's what this machine does. It has these little things that move. And likewise the fossil, what's interesting about that piece of rock is the fact that there's these very meaningful impressions in it. So, and you can really do this with anything, and that's really what we want people to do, to walk out and start to say, oh, I can see how these things are also connected.
That's really cool. So how long is the exhibit going on for?
It's on till Labor Day.
Can you tell me more of the events that are in store for the MacLachlan Woodworking Museum?
Well, we're pretty busy all summer with workshops. Most weekends we'll have workshops like paddle making or Adirondack chair making, and all those can be found on the website.
Perfect. Thanks, Tom.
Okay, thanks for coming by.
Your City, brought to you by the City of Kingston.